Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 29th episode of the Aussie Footy Show. Let's get on with the show. So, before we really get straight into it, welcome back, Aiden, mate. Welcome back again.
Thank you very much for having me on again. Pleasure as always.
Yes, so into the final series and result. My goodness, what a show we have for you. 4 games, and then we get to the big ones, and what a final series being here, but it is what it is. But all right, so yeah, like I said, we're back on always entering the second week of April final series, and we'll share the first week of results series, and we'll start off again like we usually do, like we normally do. So further in doubt, let's get on with first game, which is the Adelaide Crows Collingwood at Magpies Adelaide on Thursday night. Woody, Aiden, look, I'll let you take over first up, mate. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks. Adelaide and Collingwood. There's a lot of things I could say about this game. Just like I watched the game, I've been stuck at home all week because I had surgery on Monday last week. And I thought I want to try and push through this game and see how we go. From a Crows perspective, I think that they're probably a little bit disappointed. Like, I don't think they're going to be overly disappointed. They got the minor premiership, they got the double chance because of it. This is the difference between a young side that don't have finals experience in their core list of all their homegrown players, apart from Taylor Walker. Ben's just good. You look at Collingwood, that list has got finals pedigree all across it. A lot of those guys who were there played in the grand final victory a couple of years ago for them. Then you add in the new faces as well. Nick Daicos is getting a lot more experience. They're bringing in new faces all over the place. You've still got Pendles, you've still got Sidebottom. Darcy Moore's still there. Meso's come back into the side. There is a lot of top-end finals performers in that team right now. And that's really what showed from the go. The final scores here, Adelaide 8-7-55, Collingwood 11-13, 79. And that gap emerged very early in the first quarter and early second quarter, where Collingwood were willing to put in the little extra effort. I was thinking about this after the game, and when you play finals football, you've got to be willing to go that half a metre quicker, put in that extra 10% at every contest. And that's what Collingwood did all night. Jamie Elliott started the game off really well, set a tone, for just the forward line as well. He made that forward line his. There's a lot of guys at Collingwood who can take over. It was Jamie Elliott's night, Thursday night. He made it his, and, that set the tone for the whole of the Pies, throughout the game. Everyone that picked up, as soon as the first goal was kicked by Jamie Elliott, you could just see all of Collingwood left, all the players left, all the fans left. We're going to talk about the fans in a minute. I'm going to talk about Adelaide first. I'm going to say Adelaide, when Jamie Elliott did kick that goal, that they didn't respond. There wasn't much of a response out of them. It was a heads down, we look beat in the first 5 minutes kind of attitude from the Crows. And that's dangerous because I've seen the Crows go there before, and it's not good when they go there because there's no reset button for them. What really upset me about the night was the targeted booing by not all, but some sections of the Crows fans who went out of their way to buy a ticket for the game on Thursday night just to boo Dan Houston and Isaac Quaynor. You're going to the footy to support your club. You go to the footy to cheer on the Crows. You go to the footy to cheer on Laird and Walker and Fogarty and Thilthorpe and Keys and that lot. You do not concern yourself with booing players of the opposition. I don't care what happened 3 weeks ago. This is the final. You have to be locked in mentally, not just as players, but as fans. The Crows like to talk about the 19th man. Well, the 19th man was not there on Thursday night. My player of the game for this one, I've talked about him already. He is my man. He is Jamie Elliott from Collingwood. 94 AFL Fantasy, 4 goals, 13 touches, 12 kicks, 1 handball, 7 marks, and 2 tackles. Ben, over to you.
Thank you, Aiden. Wow. You're talking about supporter base, and we're talking about 54,000. Fortunately, that didn't happen. We had 52,187, which is definitely a sold-out crowd. I think there was more Collingwood and Adelaide, in my opinion, but I think it was more Adelaide. They were saying more Adelaide. But yeah, look, should boo anyway. It's part of our sport, but when you boo at a player, it's actually disrespectful. And, you support your players. That's for a most strong culture. But moving on from what Aiden was saying on that all truth base. But for this game, you get around a man that, I've met, such a nice bloke. And a few years ago, I met him and we were having our Hall of Fame night. And he debuted against Collingwood 2009. And later on, he played his 300 game against the team he debuted. Won MCG for his first game. And look, I watched a YouTube clip about Taylor Walker. That's the man. Congratulations on a milestone. It's a man that you have gone through for the first, 10 years of your career, just showing that it's a good effort. You go 5 years ago, we thought this is it. You never gave up. You were disciplined. You got given the task, and you basically show what you can do. This is your time, mate. And unfortunately, didn't go your way. Unfortunately, not looking. Yes, do take on 10 days in good form, and we'll share them very soon. Margin are not too disappointed. I think 24 points is a heavy defeat. It's one of the biggest defeats in so long. And LA and Collingwood always had that, the last 10 to 12 rivals, always less than 2 goals. But going deeply into this game, look, I watched every quarter, and it was the only quarter I actually was more painful was the third quarter. And Collingwood absolutely pulled Adelaide off. It was pretty good up to half time. Then it was 3-5, and that really really ended it for 3 points to another 1 goal too. So LA had chances to win this game easily. We're only down by like 19 points, and I really don't know what to say.
I think, watching the game for me as well, now you talk about having chance to score, there was that chance that Neil Bullen had where he looked like he was going to set up, and then he pushed back and took the shot, and then he still left it short anyway. Thorpe had a run in, and he decided to hand it off to Keys. So sometimes you need to be a team player, but you've also just got to sometimes take the moment for yourself.
Absolutely, Aiden. And, Adelaide, they didn't kick poorly, which is, I'll take that. What I'm going to say right now, Aiden, Adelaide scored very much that scoreline the last time these two met. So it tells me that both teams didn't kick 15 goals against each other. So that's a pretty good achievement. But getting back, look, Collingwood, well done on the win. You knew you wanted this more than anything. You had team, Adelaide were up for the challenge. I wasn't over the confident with the win, and look, I have to give more. As a close supporter, look, I thought we were going to win this game, and I had so much confidence. I didn't think it was going to be a thumping win, but I said something point on the last show. But I really think that, look, I'm not happy we lost that game, but I think we had lots of reasons why, and we're not going to go into details in today's show. But I think there was a lot, not just by players, but the group, and, not, with the, what's going around with illness and stuff like that. There's a lot going on, and players get affected, and we're all human, and we got to look after ourselves, and I think that's really affected us. But but LA heads up. We tag on Hawthorn. We'll share that very soon. But yes, we will continue with that player of the game. So look, I really don't want to really give this player, he's come back from injury, and he's proven he can play. Now, I'll give Josh Ryan LA just totally won because he's dominating the fence. But yeah, he's definitely up there as maybe All-Australian, the first All-Australian, or maybe two. We'll find out soon, but we don't know. But Jordan G. Lucci, 1 goal, 107 AFL fantasy, 26 disposals, 3 marks, 7 tackles, 44% of defensive, with 56 forward. Glucci included 5 score involvements with a goal assist, and with a 17 centre bounce attendance with a 6 clearances. So with a 332 metres game. So this fella has come, from injury, and what a career he has been so far. And, I think they'll be ready to play. There's going to be 2, or share very soon, but 1 out of, 2 qualification that's already put themselves for MCG Clash edition. So All right, it's time to move on to Friday night, and which I'll share right now. The sexy Geelong Cats take on the Brisbane Lions, more known for Fitzroy. So these two met 12 months ago, the 1 week before the grand final. Now, Geelong Cats and the Brisbane Lions on Friday night. It was a very good crowd, a very healthy crowd of 86,364 packed this Friday night. Now, I personally believe if they're going to do a final series, don't do back-to-back qualification finals. You're going to mix it up. You put, say, like the Geelong Cats game on the Thursday night. Then you go to, the Western Six on the Friday. But it won't work like that. And then we go to Perth and then back into Adelaide. Like, perfect Saturday night ball. But it won't work like that. And I think it was messed up because you can play MCG or the Friday and the 2 Friday night games could easily done that. So, and the Brisbane game, no, there's no Brisbane game, but the Perth game could be on the Thursday night. Like, great that. Knock out, mix it up. But this is the first time I've seen back-to-back qualification finals and 2 knockout finals. So, but the final score here, 16-16, 112, defeated Elimination 74. So a 38-point victory to the Cats. And back kicking back scoring, you got to kick out good team. Well, Brisbane did that nicely, and just to make it smooth and shook. So let's look at my quarter. Look, 4 goals on average, and I made a 5 in the third and 3 in the last. And look, Brisbane were going to come hard, but it wasn't enough. And 3/4 time really helped us solve that this was not for the final. These 2 met. This is the qualification final. You have a second time. Brisbane will share very soon from that. Look, back, 32 scoring shot to, 19. That's quite comfortable. A 13 more plus scoring shot in front of the Cats. Look, congratulations to both making to the finals. Geelong were more famous to win this game. I thought I backed up Brisbane to win, but they injury themselves. And can they have a belief to go back? And they have to go the hard way. And anything can happen in finals. And, players dominated all over. And Geelong really didn't have even a lead disposal. So, or even an AFL fantasy. My goodness, a player will be absolutely my player of the game. But we'll get that really soon. But look, it's not over. It's totally not over. And heads up, Brisbane, you back at home in the country road, get Charlie Cameron up and running because I will love fans sing that song. It is a Brisbane Lions spirit. Geelong, heads up, well done, making you a back-to-back MCG, first time in so long. All right, my player of the game. Now, I'm very shockingly myself to not choose a Geelong player here. Josh Dunkley from Brisbane, 147 AFL fantasy, 30 disposals, 11 tackles, 5 marks, 1 goal, 54% in the defensive half, 46% forward half. Josh Dunkley scored that 5 full involvements, a 453 metres game, 20 centre bounce attenders, and 5 bounces. Look, even Brisbane lost that game. I said Brisbane, that star of Josh Dunkley just never gives up, and well done being the part of the game. Aiden, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. That was a really good insight into the game. Now, this one was a very interesting game because it was a repeat of a final that we had last year, but things change in a year's time. Last year, Brisbane came in on an absolute steamroll from halfway through the season. They were odds on to win premiership from halfway through the season. They were rolling everyone after the bye. This year, a little bit tougher, a little bit harder for them. Geelong, a much more solid start to the year. Last year, Geelong's start was average at best. This year, their start still wasn't great, but was a much better start to the year in the opening month of footy. Now, this game really started off being quite even, and it didn't last too long before Geelong put the foot down. Geelong, the ever-professionals, the ever-presence in the finals, know what they're doing. They can be new faces, new places. It's the same old Cats. They are a team on a mission to win premierships. You need to be up for the fight against them. You want a dogfight, they will give it to you. That you want to fight on the scoreboard, they will give it to you. Whatever you do, they will bring to you, and they will bring it to you better than you ever can, because that is how they are trained at the Cattery. One thing that did stick out to me in this game was that incident with the 150 metre penalty to Cam Rayner where suddenly Tyson Stengel had the ball and looking for a set shot, and then all of a sudden I put my head down and suddenly Cam Rayner's got the ball and there's a kerfuffle. Now, umpiring aside, we can debate whether there's the right call or not to be made. Here's how I take on it. Somebody at Geelong, whoever's in charge of putting together their tapes for the film study during the week, if they have someone who does that, they need to be paying more attention to the tapes themselves. Cam Rayner has a history of flopping when needed. So don't put yourself in the position to let him take advantage and get away with it. Now, Mark O'Connor, great player, probably one of the great players in defence for the Cats. I've never met him, but probably a great bloke too. It's a shame that his name has to be dragged through the mud for this. Now, the second one, right in front of the umpire, that was definitely there and that was unnecessary. But we don't need to get to the second one if we don't get to the first one. So know that Rayner flops. We know that. We accept that. We don't put ourselves in a position where he can take advantage. But here's the other thing. Brisbane, if you're going to try and get the crowd up with a little bit of floppy, do it at home. There were 60,000 Cats fans there on Friday night. They were ready to rip your head off. You got the crowd up, all right? Just you got the Geelong crowd up. They came out after half and steadied the game and blew you out of the water a little bit. Okay, sure, you've lost Lachie Neale as well now, but that comes second to trying to flop your way back into a final, get the crowd up, and do it when you are the away team because you are not at home. And when you get the wrong crowd up, when you get the away crowd up, they will tell you all about it, just like the Geelong fans did. Now, we could go on and debate this game forever, but there is a triple-double to Josh Dunkley. Thank you for pointing that out, Ben. I'm going to give my player of the game to a young man from Geelong who deserves it. I'm going to give it to Ollie Dempsey. 105 AFL Fantasy, 3 goals, 25 touches at a split of 13 and 12 with 6 marks and 3 tackles. And if I look at the sheet of the AFL Fantasy, the stats, the disposals, the breakdown of all that, Brisbane have a lot of players who are in the higher numbers. So Dunkley 147, Zorko 130, Fort 125, Neale 117, Will Ashcroft 115. But Geelong don't work like that. They operate as a collection of individuals who work as a unit. So while I say Dempsey only had 105 fantasy, his impact on the game was a lot more than just the 105 fantasy. Fantasy can only measure stat. Geelong run on intangibles. That's what makes them so dangerous. They get a week off. They get to cruise for a while. We will see them in 2 weeks. Now I believe we have to knock some teams out.
Absolutely. And we go to the west of Sydney. And boy, I really thought this team was going to go and knock out one of the teams. We have GWS Giants versus Hawthorn Hawk. We are playing at ENGIE Stadium. Like I said, the Giants and the Hawks. Aiden, you ready, mate? I'll let you take over. Yeah, game.
Alrighty, here we go. Saturday elimination final football from NG Stadium in the west of Sydney. We have the Giants and the Hawks in the first elimination final for 2025. The first of the top 8 teams will join the 10 who didn't make it and sit out the rest of the way. Here we go. First quarter, second quarter, pretty much all Hawthorn. The first half belongs to the Hawks. They are very, very much a team on the level. Going into the halftime break, it is going to be all Hawthorn. Coming out of the break, Hawthorn start the third quarter off well. It becomes a defensive grind game for most of the third quarter, which realistically plays into the hands of the Hawks. They get to their biggest margin halfway through the third quarter, and then the Orange Tsunami roll. One goal after another, they roll it back. And they come right up to a level game. It is a level game entering the fourth quarter. GWS have clawed it back, but they have had their run cut a little bit too early. Hawthorn now taking the legs out of the GWS in that final quarter. Why am I commentating it like it's a horse race? But it is the Hawks who get over the line here in that final quarter. They kick the 3 goals that they need to get over the line, and they win this one by 19 points in the west of Sydney. So a fourth here would be nice, thank you.
That sounds really interesting. Hey, like, instead of having a horse, it actually more entertaining. We should do a horse, like, for example, it doesn't have to be Melbourne Cup, but just come over and watch the horse game and that commentary. Yeah.
Commentate on the cup. Anyway, let's get back to the footy. So, Hawthorn very much all over this one from the jump. GWS far, far away from where they want to go. They were at home. They were the highest seed. They belonged at home. They deserved to be at home. Hawthorn are built different. This is the thing about this Hawthorn side, is they have a short-term memory problem in a good way. Weeks come and go. Most teams, they dwell on what happens 3 weeks ago. This Hawthorn team is built different. Every week is a fresh start for them. I've seen 51st dates. I've met 10-second Tom. That is Hawthorn right now. You go up to them, you say, what happened last week? We don't remember. It's a new week. It's a new game. We got to get another win here. That is the way to operate as a football team. Save the good stuff on film, get rid of the bad stuff, and operate like you've got to go live and die every week. Because when you are doing that, you have nothing to be afraid of. Fear is power for Hawthorn in 2025, and they have shown that. Right there, their win gets them a ticket to play the Crows at Adelaide Oval in the semi-final. GWS, I think, should be disappointed. They had it at home. They had the situation that they wanted. They had all the conditions they wanted, but they let it slip. They let it slip because GWS are going to be a team who are oh so close. That is their story. A team who just can't get it right when it matters. A team who do all the hard work. They look brilliant in the first 23 games of the year. Then games 24 through 27, they look like a complete bunch of Carlton. Yeah, I said it. They genuinely look like Carlton when they play finals. But I could go on and on and on about this game all day because it wasn't a game that I'm going to put in the archives whatsoever, except for if I'm at the Hawthorn Football Club. It's a game where GWS should probably be the ones who look back on it and realise where it went wrong from the start. Hawthorn outplayed you. They outplayed you at your game. Then they switched it to their game. And once they switched it to their game, as we've seen throughout the season, they cannot be stopped. I'm going to get to my player of the game now. My player of the game is going to be from the Hawthorn Football Club. It's going to be Lloyd Meek, 121 AFL fantasy, only 18 touches, 5 kicks and 13 handballs with 5 marks and 8 tackles. But he had 40 hit-outs and dominated across the field. So for that reason, he is my player of the game. Getting the ball out of clearance and from contest got Hawthorn over the line here in this one.
Yes, thank you very much, Aidan. And like, would you head to Super Final Series Saturday fall, and what a show we have so far. The Giants and the Hawks, the first Elimination final. Now, I thought GWS should have won this game in lots and lots of reasons, and you can't just show up. They've got Tom Green has made one of their best. They've got the other Green, they've got Kelly, they've got Hogan. These players, they've got Elliott, Hingenberg, Taylor. The list goes on and on. You cannot show up against a team that's going to win it more. They, like Hawthorn, like Aidan was shouting, Hawthorn have won it more. They prove they are the better team, and they did it. To go to Western Sydney, to go and play full course of football, and they did. They won it in from the first half. Yes, GWS Giants scored 6 goals to 2. Then they struggled, and it was all Hawthorn 3 goals to 1 in the final quarter. So let's make it short. Final score, thing 11-107, 13-10, 88. Pretty high scoring attendance. Speaking of attendance, let's look at the crowd attendance. Now, it was a 20,634, so pretty decent for final series. But I think that we know that GWS, that just didn't look like they want to be there. They want to be there to play, but not play next week. And Hawthorn want it more. They were hungry. So credit to Hawthorn. They are going to come to Adelaide. They're looking all right. But can they beat Adelaide, South Australia? They love Hawthorn are coming to Adelaide. And that is simple as that. GWS, heads up. See you next season. Thanks for a great season and all the best. But look, I'm just going to go and play the game because I have to say, Louis Mink as well, with including that 40 disposals, 121 AFL fans, and the 18 disposals. We have 5 marks, 8 tackles, 34% defensive half, 66 forward half. So pretty good effort with the free scoring involvement, 28% of centre bounce attenders and 7 clearances for a big unit like Louis Meek. So well done to the week Hawthorn ruckman, including, as I mentioned, 40 hit out. So pretty good effort. We done it. We made it. I'll continue on to this final game of week 1. And it's more than ever emotion we have between these two sides. A team has made history. The biggest crowd attendance for the round 57,507 at Optus Oval, which is a world record of all time ever since Optus Oval have ever built for AFL Oval. It's well cricket, but for the AFL generally. And I'm more shocked that I backed up Fremantle to win this game and thought Daicos had no answer. But my goodness, it just wow that the home of Fremantle Army to get knocked out of the first week. Gold Coast have proven Darren Heartbreak, the Tigers' former coach, to go into the hot of sun and win in Perth. It could be a new winning venue for him on the road. Final score pretty accuracy, but 11-40-80, 12-7-79 was 57,000 plus. A heartbroken. Before, I'll say this, heads up, Fremantle. First time playing finals. Gold Coast had everything to play for you. You should won it at half from the half-time point, but Gold Coast had them other ways. 7-4, and then 3-1. You had everything to win this game. 2 goals each, but it was just not enough. And I really have to say congratulations to Gold Coast claiming a final spot. But winning in Perth all time ever for Gold Coast, no other team can go to Perth and win the final. It is not easy. You go from Queensland, where we are, from Adelaide and Queensland, flew over the other side of Australia. Western Australia's quite a decent city.
And I think as well, people from outside Australia don't actually realise how much of a climate change it is going east to west, plus also how big Australia is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a team that, no one saw this coming. Gold Coast were not favourites. And I was going for Gold Coast because they were new to play finals. The interesting that every 18 teams have finally played finals. But the interesting fact is Gold Coast has been the second to last, the 17th team come in, and 15 years later, 14 or 15 years, they finally make finals. And I was so happy when I heard that score the next day on the Sunday, going to the 40 hours, I forgot to check the score, and Gold Coast won. I was like, whoa. So I don't know what else to say, but all the best. Going back home to Queensland, but on to Brisbane. The first time Q clash. So it just gets really difficult for Brisbane. Gold Coast have more any but momentum, and they should be there. It is a hard game to tip, and I'm going to go for the upset, but we'll share that very soon. I just gave you a little bit hit back too much. But look, it's so hard to play a player of the game and to make this smooth. Look, a player has shown me why should be an All-Australian, and I've never seen him be not in an All-Australian team. Jack Witts. Now, he may not be huge in the tackles and marks. Why I've chosen him, but he include 21 disposals. Yes, the 1 mark and 3 tackles. But he had 58% in the defensive half, 58% of defensive half, 42% fourth half, included 4 scoring involvement, but his big disposal was 44 hit out from 26 attendance bounce, was an 8 clearances, a huge for a ruckman. And why he's not All-Australian, in my advice, he should be the second ruckman. He's proven he can hit 50 hit out, and Matt Scorn was All-Australian. Wake up AFL, it's not about Matt Gorn being the best ruck. It's about who can dominate all game, can hit 50 hit outs. That's half of 100. And guess what? Jarwick, well done. You've been there for such a long time. You might become my player of the game. Aiden, let's share the final game. Here we go.
Now, for long-time viewers of this show, they know that this year I absolutely flipped a Barney on Fremantle, formerly a supporter of this club. Now they are my greatest enemy. See, I am a successful person in life, and I cannot any longer be held down by a failure of a football club like Fremantle. So I'm going to start off by being cold and callous and calculating like I always am in Fremantle. I hate to tell you this. I am not a religious man, but I prayed for this, and it happened. 2 years ago, you're in the finals. You played a game where you got bashed in the first half against the Western Bulldogs. You escaped jail in that game. A week later, you got put in jail by Collingwood. You didn't get out then. Last year was an absolute high of a season for you. No final. This list, now you even have Shea Bolton. This list is a top 4, if not top 2, even minor premiers list. And here you are, fumbling your way into finals and repeating the same stuff that you did 2 years ago. Gold Coast winning this game. They win this game 11-14-80 to Fremantle 12-7-79. You put yourself in the position again at half time. Whereas Ben, you said Gold Coast were up by 7 goals. You pretty much 7 goal second quarter for Gold Coast, right? Yeah, so you did it again. You put yourself in a situation that was not in your benefit in the second half again. This time, again, couldn't get out of it. You clawed your way back. You did the good thing. You did a good thing, though. You did claw your way back. I'll give you credit for that. You came back into the contest. You even got ahead. But then you had 5 minutes to hold on and you pissed it all away. Who still goes man on? 5 minutes to go. You don't change the matchup for McAndrew when he rolls forward. Why is Josh Tracy defending McAndrew when McAndrew rolls forward? That's got to be a key defender's job, that. Okay, McAndrew kicks a goal. Okay, scores a level. Okay, we can survive 2 minutes and we're going to have overtime. Perfect. It's not a late night for the kiddies. Oh, wait. Fremantle's a family-friendly club now. I forgot Johnny Docker went from being a stoner guy to a family man. So you let the kids go to bed early with broken dreams. 1 minute to go. Brennan Cox gives away a free kick to David Swallow. Of all the players to give the free kick away to, you give it to David Swallow, a man who says, win or lose, come the end of this year, I'm done. You want to talk about fairy tale moments? David Swallow kicks a goal with 9 seconds on the clock. Then we go to a review. It's overturned to a point. Okay, David Swallow's kicked a point with 9 seconds on the clock. Here's the thing. It would have been better off being a goal for you, Fremantle, because there is no way you can go coast to coast with a footy in 9 seconds. It is not possible. So, I don't know if this is allowed or not, but I would love to see a player try this. I would have loved to see Alex Pearce try this on Saturday night, run to the umpire and decline the review. Because if you run to the umpire and you decline the review, I don't know what the rules are, but you may have been able to decline the review, take the goal, and then you've got 9 seconds at a 6-6-6 restart centre bounce where you can get a clearance and get a mark inside 7 seconds. That is what it takes. I've measured it before, don't worry. But do you see how you've shot yourself in the foot again, Fremantle? You let yourself go again, and you paid for it again. Nat Fyfe is gone. Sonny Walters is gone. The guys of the 2010s are gone. David Swallow kicks golden point, and he gets to play another week in what should have been your game. Congratulations, Fremantle. You are the idiot of the week. Now, my player of the game. Player of the game, this one, pretty easy for me. It's going to be Matt Rowell from Gold Coast. 110 AFL Fantasy, 34 touches, 14 kicks, 20 handballs, 2 marks, and 6 tackles. Matt Rowell, the effort there for the Gold Coast, coupled with David Swallow's golden point, and they get to play NRQ Clash Semi.
Okay, and speaking of semis, we're here. Geelong and Collingwood, we're facing off. Friday night clash. It's the Crows and the Hawks will face the 6 Geelong Cats at the MCG. Welcome to be a Saturday night game. And then the Q clash between the Lions and the Suns will take on the Black and White Army that Matt hires on the MCG. I reckon that'll be a Friday night. What a game that'll be. But I'll go through my 2 games and I'll let you add them. So, well done to these 4 teams. Equals to 6. But I'm on it to continue on to the final series. We're just doing this for fun. And the Adelaide Oval and Brisbane are the venues. And then the 20 finals are both at the MCG. Not Kitty Park, not Victoria Park. Because that's where these clubs are from. We got the LA Crows from Adelaide Oval, not exactly West Lakes and Hawthorn down at Box Hill. So, and Brisbane and Gold Coast and Gold Coast. So, we got 6 teams from different areas. And this game, the Crows and the Hawks, the last time these two met, Adelaide took the job done. This is now not finishing point. This is knockout finals. And I cannot believe I can say, Coach, like I said, I think LA can take this game, but I'm not fully confident. They need to be ready. They need to recover. They need to look after themselves. Both teams, especially with LA, but I have proud confidence they'll bounce back. No, I think they'll have their start Shelley is out for 2 months of football, so it's going to make it. Is Adelaide ready to take on the Hawks on a different environment? Yes, it's Friday night football. I think they can do it. I believe they can do it. They'll be on Friday night footy, and this is now time to what? There'll be more Adelaide than Hawthorn. Hawthorn loves coming to Adelaide, as I mentioned in the early in the show. So, can Adelaide get the job done? Like I said, yes, but Hawthorn won it. And you can see they were struggling early. Hawthorn came out absolutely on top. They started well. Adelaide did not start well. And that's where concerns me in so many levels. But I think, like I said, I think Adelaide will recover. They'll be ready to go. And I'm going for Adelaide Crows to win this by 10 points in a very close game. The key clash. Don't know how many key clashes, but it's a key clash. We've had a showdown at Football Park. We've not seen Adelaide Oval. What a clash that'll be. But first time in history, this is a prime time. And the Lions and the Suns got head to head. Well done to Gold Coast. You're back in territory in that conditions. I'm really going to start. I am going for up here, Aiden. Gold Coast. Brisbane just don't have their forwards. They've got no star of Lachie Neale. I met Lachie Neale's manager, by the way, but I really think how Gold Coast played in the West, they can quiet down that country road of Cameron. The pennies are out. And I think this is going to be not a 1 point, but I'm going to say 15 points. And I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. But I would love to see Gold Coast, even they lose the semi-final, if they go through that, I'll be happier. You know, that if they win this game, they take on Collingwood MCG, and Gold Coast, and I know, and I've seen this year, they love big times, and we're finally going to see what the Gold Coast Suns in prime time are like, and they can finally say, okay, Gold Coast are going to be a team to look out and get see them on the road, on TV, in prime time, because they deserve it. They are my teams. And I tell you right now, I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know if I'll be able to watch the Saturday night game. I'm confident I'm going to the Adelaide Oval, the Lloyd, and I can share that after the reviews and stuff, and share my thoughts, and we can share our predictions and all of that. What a game they'll be. But yep, so the LA Coast by 10 and Gold Coast by 15. Aiden, take it away. For these two classic games, what should be a good semi-final series.
I'm going to start off with saying this is probably one of the best semi-final lineups we've had in the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
Like, new faces like Adelaide, 15th last year, minor premiers this year. Gold Coast, their first run in September in the club history. You know, Hawthorn are a relatively new face in the finals. Okay, they were there last year. You know, the real only one ever present over the sort of the last 5 or so years is Brisbane. And that just shows you how competitive the AFL is at this level. Waiting for them in stage 3, the winner of these games in stage 3 are 2 of the old firm clubs, Geelong and Collingwood. So we have a great, not just semi-final week, but we have a great prelim final week as well. Because I think that not so much you looked at the Geelong game, I'm going to look at the outcome for the Collingwood game, which would be the winner of Brisbane and Gold Coast. Now, I'm going to say, I'm going to get to my actual prediction in a minute, but I think if Gold Coast get through Brisbane here, look out Collingwood. Gold Coast are dangerous. They've never been to the finals before. They've never done anything like this. This is uncharted territory. This is like Hawthorn from last year, the Doggies from 2016. This is a team that don't know anything about the pressure of the finals, and they just go out and play footy. They like playing with their mates. They like playing for their fans, and they go out and they get the job done. Time for me to get to my predictions, and this is the hard bit when I have to say 2 more teams are going home because we are left with 6 great clubs at this stage. Now, before I even get into it, I just want to say that I'm looking at these games. They're hard to pick. They are hard to pick because you're not going to know until who gets that real big first early run. Like Adelaide, they got a pretty even breakaway against Collingwood, but then just had one bad quarter. Hawthorn had a brilliant breakout in the first half against GWS. Brisbane was probably on the back end of they're the one team who are on the back end of their game all day against the Cats. And Gold Coast, of course, had that really strong side against Fremantle. We're going to go to Adelaide and Hawthorn first, and I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take the Hawks. This is like last year. Hawthorn in a semi-final at Adelaide Oval. Now, they're playing the other South Australian side last year. This is different. This year, they're playing the Crows. they don't want to start getting burned at Adelaide Oval. I think Hawthorn are more ready for this game than people are giving them credit for. I think if they do beat Adelaide, and I think they can beat Adelaide here, I think that Geelong's going to have a big fight on their hand. So, with that said, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to say Hawthorn by 5 points. Second semi-final, Brisbane versus Gold Coast, Q-Clash semi. Now, just the statistical innumerability of this being Gold Coast's second ever finals game in their first ever finals run. If you had told me at the start of the year that Gold Coast was going to make finals and have a Q-Clash semi-final, just the way the lines had to work out for this to happen over 23 weeks of like perfectly getting the lines to match up, so we get to this stage, plus the first week of finals, is ridiculous. However, this is what we have. And Ben, I agree with you. Neil's another big out for Brisbane. I don't think Gold Coast are the outsiders here. I think they are the favourites. Brisbane took the big loss against the Cats. They looked shaky. Gold Coast bombed the Dockers out in the first half and then hung them out to dry in the second. They are the more ready team, I think. I'm going to say Gold Coast beat Brisbane. They win the first ever Q-Clash final by 20 points. And a comfortable 20 of that too.
Okay, so before we move on, and we'll just share a bit of a Aussie footy review for the 20 finals to place double blue. But if Adelaide do lose, it'll be the first time since 1983, and I researched this on the news, that if Adelaide lose in state stretch, being the Mine Pioneers, it'll be the first time since 1983. So I want to share that.
Please also remember as well that's pre-AFL era. So the last team to do it was a VFL club.
Yeah. Let me just a little bit more rephrasing that. It's correct, Aidan. It's the first time in AFL history since 1983 from the VFL day. Adelaide, if Adelaide lose, will be the first team in AFL history to do it. But moving forward into what we are in South Australia, not going to worry about the Western Australian National Football League or the Victorian Football League and all that. We have the 20-final of the South Australian National Football League. Being a Nord Redleg supporter known for the red and blue, they are one step to claiming, to knocking out the Glenelg Tigers, the Premiers. Now, Sturt won quite comfortably. Now, I only stayed for the first quarter because I wasn't going to review this game. But my goodness, the crowd, the weather was just perfect. The Nord Chiefs squad was right there. But I think, and you can go into it if you wish to share as well, your restrictions. Obviously, I'm going to go for Nord. I think Nord can beat anyone. They did it against Centrals, which I had no confidence. Then they take on Adelaide Crows Reserves. Adelaide Crows Reserves look flat, a lot worse than Centrals. And I'll get up the scoreboard in just a moment, if I can. I'm really shocked in so many ways that, yes, I didn't see them playing finals, but I did not see them come this far at all. So, yeah, very much, yes, Adelaide scored more, but Nord scored more goals, and we keep good seat. Now, the first week, Adelaide came out totally on top, and somehow Glenelg found a way. When Nord faced Adelaide, Nord started well, Adelaide looked flat. So it shows me that, yes, we had a really poor quarter, 4 goals, 5, or maybe it's 5 goals, 5, to 3 goals, 2. So we won that quarter by 15 points. Then another 2 goals, 4, to another 3 goals, 3. So, like I said, I'm not overly confident because Glenelg will bounce back, of course. I think Nord look really more ready this year. New coach, new team, almost new team, been there for a few years. And I really think that Nord will take on Sturt. I don't know. I'm not confident, but I think we can back ourselves on Sunday and really take on. But I'm really not looking at a margin. If I had chosen a margin, it will be like a nail biter by 2 goals. Between 5 and 12 points. But look, if we lose this game, I'm not angry. I will expect that Glenelg look a bit more better all over the field. But our defence is being rock solid and Seymour dominating that bench. And he was one of my player of the game as well. How he played on that against one of their forwards. Adelaide just looked really, really terrible. terrifying. But we now face, Norwood even kicking. Adelaide kicked more than Glenelg. We kicked 15 goals to 8. Norwood should win, but not easy. I do not see easy win. Nothing's easy in final. And I know every team we play in the final, the matter of fact for Norwood, have actually won Adelaide Oval. So, in fact of that, Glenelg has been one of the hardest teams since they've come good. It's going to be a nail biter. All right, Aiden? That's my predictions for this Glenelg and Norwood Red League 20 final. Take it away. Who you think should take on Sturt?
A few minutes ago, I talked about Brisbane last year being the team that just started steamrolling the competition after midway. This Norwood team reminds me very much of the Brisbane Premiers from last year. They first 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, they were dead. They were dead in the water. They were barely getting over teams like South and West. From week 8 onwards, they've become an absolute freight train. They are a team who are probably destined for a premiership. I hate to say it, Glenelg, you are running on the wrong side of the tracks right now because you beat Norwood last year. Fine. Norwood sees you as an obstacle to get what they want. They will run over you, they will run through you, and they will beat you. Norwood should have been premiers last year. They know it. You know it. You're dead. Sturt will deal with them in a second. They're next week's job for Norwood. Norwood's going over the base here comfortably. Norwood win by 30 points. I'm calling it. This is Norwood going on a Brisbane run. They are that scary right now. Talking about scary football teams, under 16s grand final, under 18s grand final. The baby bloods. Our 16s are in the grand final. Our 18s are in the grand final. This is great. I don't care about our league side anymore. We can do whatever we want at league level. I don't care. We could not win another game for the next 10 years. Who cares? We have 2 chances to win junior premierships, Cox premierships. And I could not feel better about beating the 2 teams that we have in front of us. We have Centrals, I believe Centrals in the 16s and Sturt in the 18s. Ben, can you just confirm that? I know it's Centrals and Sturt. I just don't know what the order is.
So yeah, we do have the grand finals up. So correction, we do have under 16s. And congratulations, Aiden, on your baby blood, as they like to call them. They have struggled, and I'm backing up. We can do our predictions if you wish. And
well, you know who I'm going for.
I'm backing West Adelaide for this. I do not want to. I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I really don't like Centrals.
Let's be honest, though. Centrals are the Collingwood of the SANFL. You either hate them or you go for them. There's no other options.
Correct. Yeah. So West Adelaide under 16 now. I started pretty good in grand finals and under 18s. I went to the one Norwood versus Sturt. Norwood won that under 18s. No, Sturt won that one. So if I recall, they're pretty good rivals, Norwood and Sturt in history. But West Adelaide, mate, congratulations. Get around West Adelaide supporters. Get down early. It is going to be a big day on Sunday. Bring your kids, your brothers, if your uncle from under 18, it's unusual to have that, but bring your grandparents along. It's free entry, under 16s and from under 18s and under, bring your kids along. It's honoured to have a grand final on the big stage. Now, unfortunately, I won't be there. I might be there for the second game, and I barely not to go for Stern. I'm surely there'll be 30 supporters. If not, I'll be shocked. But, I'm going West LA for both games. It's going to be a good. I'll be really happy for them. It's good for the club as well. And look, we've got some futures. Reserves and league have struggled, which is unusual. But we come to reserve this. If that's all right, I'll let you share the 16s and under 18s.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious who I'm going for in the 16s and the 18s. I got my boys in there. So I just imagine the scene. 16s come off the ground holding the 16 shield as the 18s are running out. Imagine the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then the 18s take the 18 shield back as well.
So we know I don't go for any of these teams, and Glenelg were taking on South Adelaide in the senior finals, and Glenelg got themselves in the finals. Sturt not bad. North Adelaide, prior from Woodsboro West Torrens making the finals. Sturt won that game. If that is correct. So, a team with South Adelaide, and this is interesting history, we're staying with West Adelaide, Aiden. The league struggles, but the reserves dominate. It's supposed to be the vice versa. It's always the league. The league needs to find these players. And don't worry, South Adelaide, if they had some funds, they need to bring some talent.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I was thinking about this morning was, okay, we might not be a Norwood at league level, but that's because all of our 16s and 18s don't make it up to league. They go off to the AFL. So while we might not be contending at league level at West Adelaide, our young kids are the cream of the crop. They are the ones getting picked up early and going into the big stage.
Yeah, so the pretty final to face Glenelg in a big grand final. Now, I really love South Adelaide to win the premiership. Can't just have Sturt winning in Glenelg, but hilarious they'll be. I know if this happens, Glenelg and Sturt and Glenelg, exactly saying what happened, not exactly correction, but the interesting fact is Sturt have been there. They were second last year, fifth from this year for the reserves. 9 didn't make the finals. They struggled big time, but Glenelg took that spot and South Adelaide took that spot. So South Adelaide weren't there. They were dead bottom, almost like there. But now look at them. I credit them to make the girls are doing so well. Why not be reserve premiership 2 no longer? And bring that no longer. Bring those South Adelaide supporters back to the Adelaide Oval and support your Pandas because you don't get this very often. So Pandas and Glenelg are my predictions for the grand final. We'll look at that grand final the next week. Stay tuned for this because I will share a bit more detail on a separate episode. But we do have the award show coming up, and I'm keep reminding you all, it's going to be one of the best. There will be cards coming out, so business cards of some sort for the video show. So contacting myself and Aiden will be there, answer any questions, and it's going to be awesome because any episodes you wish to share and even would like to be interviewed about that subject, feel free for that. So that will be up and running very soon. We also have this episode, the 29th episode of the Aussie Footy Show. We have the extra final series of the SANFL. So I'll look a bit more deeper on that. But with Aiden's reviews, showing his West Adelaide and he's proud for it, and it's fantastic. Someone's a big West Adelaide supporter. If you're a West Adelaide supporter and you know someone, get down to Adelaide Oval the 14th of September, Adelaide Oval from 9:30, your 16th and 18th. It's a big deal. I'm Nord. I respect a team's struggles. I'm playing with Kenilworth this year. The seniors will struggle. They go down to, in the LA Football League, Division 4 to 5. So I know why rebuilding team is like. You want there behind the sideline in the league level, they never given up. And I think I give more credit than anything from that. So there's so much more, and hopefully international agenda will be coming out soon, Aiden.
Yeah, last week, I sort of said this at the start of the program, but last week I had surgery, so I couldn't do it last week. But we'll be back. Big super episode pretty much coming up. Going to be looking at a lot of stuff going on now. NFL's back, college football's back, Premier League's back. So it's going to be a long ride. We're going to count down to the NBA and the NHL as well. MLB, that's nearly at the postseason. So that's going down. Motorsport as well, going to the final races. So it's going to be a strong back end to the year this year.
Absolutely, and sound like big shows are coming up as well. The Australian Sport Edition show, the summer cricket's coming soon. T20, the NBL, National Basketball League, the Australian League. What a season for the LA Footy Zeta. I cannot wait.
What a start in the big three for them as well in the small ball competition, the preseason competition.
Oh, yes. So it was a bit different, and I'm a bit confused who took place. And I was thinking it was Tasmania, but the NBL Blitz now.
The Blitz, that's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of.
It was held in Canberra, ACT, and not all their stars played, Adam. And, we look really good besides, take on Tasmania and Eel Hawks.
I have some interesting news about Adelaide as well. I've heard things going around. This may not be true, but I've heard things going around where Bryce Cotton may be able to apply for Australian citizenship.
I did saw that.
And if he does apply for Australian citizenship, he becomes a domestic player, which means we would free up an import slot.
Amazing. Everyone loves him. Since Adelaide memberships are sold out, proves me that they're not here to watch the first sixes, which they should. They're watching the legend of Wisconsin. There's something that they go to Perth, look out, Perth Wildcat. Boy, the players of Sunday Dash and not five and the other player and some other player. I think it was a freeway trade for Wisconsin. I think that was a bit wasteful. But overall, we have one of the best teams, not just Bryce Scotted, not just the big unit, not Isaac Humphrey.
Travers, Isaac White. It's a dangerous list.
It's a very dangerous list. One, yes, we got to respect.
I'm gonna call it now. 36 is a premiership or bust.
An early prediction there.
Very, very early prediction, but with that list,
absolutely,
they should be really thinking about this is our best shot to win a premiership in the last couple of years. We've had some downtime. Now we're back.
Absolutely. And we got a good coach in Mike Wells, and he's pushes players or men, if you want to word in basketball language. But I'm really looking forward to the set. I've never been so excited. And it's talking around the town. I think we got a really good team in respect to Perth, and they're going to be still a good team as usual. They would. They got Era Hawks. They're a good team. They still will be a good team. You lost them in the preseason. Who cares? I'm not careless about that. They was just get a run in Canberra. It's fantastic. We've got some new imports, and I like some local young talent, which we do, 100%. So that's a bit about our Australian Sport Edition show. That's already out already, but the NBL 26 is yet on pass, and the A-League, the Australian New Zealand comp will do something similar. I can't wait to share with all that. So there's so much on the Australian international agenda, a little bit more flexible, and we'll totally share a little bit of AFL, news around. So the news that amazing, but I think, like I said, the award show bigger and better than ever. Just when it comes out, when we let you all know, be the first one to listen to it. It should be surprises all over. We got the BJ Show Awards show winner, player of the game, player of the year, the coach of the year, the goal, the mark. And we also will announce their footy tipper from the BJ Show.
And I think one other thing as well that we've done new this year is because last year we sat back and we had so many guys that missed out on our All-Australian teams.
Absolutely.
What we've decided to do is we've both gone away and we've made an All-First team, which is our official All-Australian team, then a reserves for an All-Second team.
Yes, absolutely, because everyone should deserve to be in the top 40, as they call it, the two teams. Regardless, can be 3 teams. But it's really hard to pick a player and pick that team, and I'm looking forward to your surprises. It's going to be a big show. Stay tuned. We also have quizzes, so quizzes are back, so we'll be bigger and better than ever. We'll be prepared that really soon, so keep an eye out for a mix of fun questions and and our best music, our, movies, all that. Make it a bit more different. Besides, yes, we all think BJ Show podcast on YouTube is all about the sport. Well, not just about sport. I love my quizzes. That's not sport. That can be a quiz about sport, but it's not just about that. We got, our top favourite music and movie. That's not sport. We can talk about our favourite sport movie. It doesn't have to be that. Stay tuned for all that. That's in the off season, and it's going to be a fun, very busy. And one more thing we're going to let you all know: we've got some big guests coming through on the show, which will not be released. So stay tuned for all that. I cannot believe it's going to be a very busy month in the next, until October. It's amazing. BJ Show's ever been busy, first time and ever in a long time. So it's going to be some lot. And thank you, Aiden, again, coming on the show. Without you, mate, I'm honoured, to have you as co-host and, put behind the scenes. It's not easy, but, being, the co-host of doing this, without Aiden, this BJ show will not be the same. It's changed. It's changed how I, work and stuff like that. It's making it more fun, and we have a laugh and our answer biscuit moment. We always have a good crack laugh, and yeah, So thank you, Aiden.
That's all right. It's always been a pleasure coming on here as well. I mean, just for me as well, when Ben said, "Hey, can you help with this?" I'm like, "Sure, why not? I'll give it a go." And 3 years later, here we are. We're at the end of the 2025 season for the footy almost, and the show's looking like it's been in the best place it's been since we started.
Absolutely. And you didn't come in for the 3 years, but it was the YouTube. And my dad spoke to me and he spoke to me some reviews. Any feedback, be honest, because I want to make it for you to listen, my best ability to you to listen to it. If I'm going too quick, that's where the email comes in. There's feedbacks. We can prove that. And that's just not myself, that's Aiden as well. We all like to speak really quick. And sometimes we just have to know that it can be a positive, negative feedback, which it is. It's more the positive feedback from my dad. So, Steve,
I mean, look, I get it. Sport's exciting. Sport is, I owe a lot to sport, Ben. I know you do too. And honestly, from just my life, like there is nothing better than watching a live game of sports, whether it's on TV, in person, or being involved on the field.
absolutely. So, all right, that's our show. Thank you so much. As usually you do. Keep listening to the latest episode. Thank you, Aiden. BJ Show is out. Bye for now.